Greetings, Lux lovers, welcome back. Here we believe in intentional luxury and we're not afraid to invest in pieces that will work for us. So if that resonates with you, then please consider subscribing and stay a while. Well, the Hermes New Jersey private sale just happened during the second week of April, and I was so graciously invited to attend as a guest by my lovely subscriber, Olivia. I'll put her socials below. But believe it or not, this was my first time attending any Hermes private sale, so was I going to miss out if given the chance? Forget about it. I also had the opportunity to meet up with two other amazing creators who also just happened to be going, and that is Dawn from the channel Dawn Loves Couture and the lovely Lula from Lula West Lux. I'll link their channels below and also their sale videos, but it was such a pleasure to meet new folks to make the day even more special. So today I'm going to share a little bit about the sale, what my ingoing strategy was, and your eyeballs are going to pop out when you see the unprecedented amount of footage that I got from the inside of the sale. I would say this is similar to the type of footage that I got from inside the Goyard in Paris. I'll link that video as well. And then I'll share the goodies that I got inside this bag from the sale. So grab your fancy Hermes mug of tea and let's begin. Before we start, I want to share this kind gift from the brand Rose Forever. It is the beautiful square crystal box with the 9 lilac roses. How stunning is this? And the company just turned 6 years old and they use a special preservation process to preserve these beautiful roses. And through that process, these roses will last a year, so they say. Also, this tray comes out so that you can store your beautiful goodies. So I can't wait to style this in the future. This makes an awesome Mother's Day present or a birthday present, and I'll link them below and you can use my code BEAUTYLUX20 for $20 off your order. So that is totally beautiful. I can't wait to store some of my treasures in here. So let's talk about the sale background really quickly. Hermes basically runs a sale of its merchandise in cities all over the world. I'll put a picture of what the invite looks like here. They have women's and men's ready-to-wear, shoes, hats, silks, equestrian clothing, ties, and fashion accessories. So basically everything that you would want except handbags. I thought this was once a year, but this is so early in April compared to the New York sale, which is typically in October, that to be honest, I don't actually know if this is the start of a new season for 2025 or if we're just at the tail end of the old season. So comment down below if you know the cadence of these sales. All of the items are 50% off, and this time ready to wear was 60% off. I've seen in the past that sometimes it fluctuated between 50 and 70%. It's also my understanding from my SA and others who have checked that the invite list is managed by corporate, and I'm not sure if it's totally random, but it's not to say that only high spenders are getting the invites. I personally never got one, and maybe it's because they still think I'm aligned to New York, where there's more competition. I'm not even sure. But the invites come via email, and you can register for your exact time slot, and you can even invite a friend if you get invited, which is great, which is how I was able to go. You just need to have an account. Your guests can actually sign up for their own time slot. So I thought that was interesting that you didn't necessarily have to go together, but that definitely increases flexibility. From there, you're given a QR code, which you basically have to show throughout the whole process from check-in all the way through check-out. I do not believe that these sales go towards pre-spend, nor are they aligned to any specific SA. And I actually don't know if these items are even added to your formal Hermes profile, because I pray it's not, because I already told my SA that I would be faithful. Also on my bank statement at the top, the vendor was not Hermes, so I guess I'd be surprised if that company's transactions were somehow integrated with the Hermes system. But you did seem to have a profile in order to register. So the jury's out. Let me know if any of you out there definitively know whether your past transactions from a sale ended up on your profile, if you even know. Another thing to keep in mind is that because these items don't count as pre-spend and might not even be on your profile, nothing that you get at the sale will get you any closer to a quota bag. In fact, it even takes money out of your pocket that could go towards pre-spend that would get you on your journey. So really, when you go into the sale, you have to have the mindset that anything that you buy has to be for the sheer love of the brand, not for a quota bag. And so that's why in the past, I had never really been desperate to go to a sale, but now that I was actually invited, of course I would go and purchase some kind of items. And so when I went, I didn't really have much of a wish list, so I really tried to remain flexible. Although I was interested in picking up some ready to wear and something that I could travel with so that I could look like a serious buyer the next time I went to Paris asking around for a leather appointment. So let's talk about the actual day of the sale. The New Jersey sale was in Jersey City, and as you can see, I got there early. It's right by the pier, and it had these beautiful views of the New York City skyline. I waited in a nearby coffee shop for Dawn and Lula to come, and so it was so great to be able to just meet them, chit chat about what we wanted to do in the sale, talk about luxury, and then we walked over together because Dawn had the first appointment. All right, Dawn, say hello.
Hi.
All right, Lula, say hello. All right.
We're having fun.
We're gonna find the entrance and report
Yes.
back. And here we are. Lula and I were cheering Dawn on from the side, and we felt like it was Dawn's first day of kindergarten, where we were like proud parents waving her goodbye. And then from there, I went to a nearby Italian restaurant, and I took Olivia out to lunch to thank her for the invite to the sale, which was actually good because you definitely need to fuel up beforehand. And then we went over to the sale. Again, we used our QR code to get in. And once you got in, you took an elevator up to the sale floor. There was a coat and bag check, just so you know. You had to keep your phone and your wallet on you. And they do give you a wristband so that they can understand who is in the timed batches so that they could rush you out if you were overstaying your welcome. Then from there, you wait in another line. However, at your appointed shop time, they did just let everybody in, so that was great. It was like a little stressful, like everyone just kind of ran in and it was off to the races. You can see here, again, really good footage of people just like walking through. First section was men's, and it was on these, beautiful racks. Everyone had their see-through bags, and people were just starting to grab merchandise. And here's a picture of some of the tie merchandising. Really, it's just in these trays by color. So you have to kind of make quick decisions, and some of the items actually had quotas. I think, for example, you couldn't get more than like 14 silks and one pair of orans. And it was just really fun. They organized it by size and then kind of by color. So I went over to my size and I was able to look, of course, at the greens, but there wasn't a whole lot of them. In fact, the green things that they had, I already own. So then I just started branching out, but it was really fun to look at the items and think about like, when were they in the store? Are they still in the store? And I was really, really focused on ready to wear. In fact, here is a lot of footage that I captured of me just looking through the racks, and there was a ton of stuff. Again, I don't know if we were at the start of the season or the end of the season, but my personal take is that it was well stocked. I could see that there were like kind of walled off areas that there was a lot more stock in the back. So I do think if they had an item, it was on the floor, but if they had multiple sizes, it was in the back. So between each shopping time slot, I do think that they were replenishing sizes. And I actually think that they were replenishing as we were going, because I would see new things pop up. Also good to know is that there are fitting rooms, so I would definitely suggest taking advantage of that and not blind buying, because there were some things in size 36, which I typically am, that like were just way too tight when I tried them on. And then came the shoe section. So you'll see here some of the shoes. There were, I thought, a good selection of men's shoes. In my size 36, there was quite the selection. There was a lot of Oron sandals, a lot of loafers as well, some platform shoes, some boots. But I actually didn't pick up any shoes, which surprised me because I feel like I have a robust collection that I will use, so nothing was really calling to me. And then here we see some silks, and this is how they put the silk shawls and the regular silks on hangers for you to see. And here's a section of the twillies where again they put them out onto a tray and you could just pick through the colors that you liked. Towards the end you pass through home goods, equestrian, and also the costume jewelry. So I took some pictures. There were some like click H bracelets. I really liked that you could see some of the picnic earrings. And by that time I had totally run out of time because my pacing wasn't that great, but thankfully there was nothing that was really calling my name. So I didn't buy any of those categories. And then you get in the long checkout line, and then your stuff is kind of thrown into a white paper bag and you're sent home. And I just wanted to show a few of the items that I tried on so that you can see in case you're interested in like the types of items that are available in the sale. Here I tried on one of their puffer coats, and this was really cute, but a good example of where I really wished they had it in a size up, and when I went out to the floor, they just didn't. So sometimes you'll have gaps in what's available. This is a really cute short sleeve sweater with, again, those beautiful green colors. However, this size was a little too tight for my liking, and they didn't have it in a size 38, so I would have wanted to size up there. And I think a good tip is to wear clothing that can act as a base layer that you could just throw other clothing on top of, because you kind of don't want to strip down in those fairly public fitting rooms. Here's another green t-shirt that I saw, but I already have a green t-shirt that I bought in Paris, so I felt like this was a little too close for something I already owned. Here is a black, I think this was a wool sweater or maybe cashmere, but you know, it was okay, just not very compelling. Here was a really cool long sleeve sweater, and it is in this beautiful astrology pattern, which I really like. And here's another long sleeve shirt, also in that astrology pattern. Again, very cool. And I like that loose fit. Here's a jacket in the astrology pattern. So you can see, like, I'm not sure what season these came from, but you could definitely tell like there were just batches of seasons in here. Here is a oversized black t-shirt with a pocket. That was cute, but I didn't know how much I would use that. Again, I already have a t-shirt. Here's a beautiful button-down cotton shirt dress, and I really like this piece, but as you can see, it was way too big. I was swimming in it, and if they had it in a size 36, this was a size 38. But if they had it my size, I probably would have bought it. There were some really beautiful silk button-down shirts, and I would love to add one of those in my collection, but there were like weird buttons and fringes on the side, so I knew I probably wouldn't wear that. And then here I am trying on some of their athleisure wear, and this is like a sports bra, but I didn't want to strip down, so I just put it over my clothing. You're welcome. And if you're enjoying yourself so far, I'd love for you to consider subscribing. If you like extreme product close-ups, thoughtful commentary, luxury unboxings, and the occasional undercover luxury vlogging like this, then you've come to the right place. All right, let's get to the unbagging. Okay, so here are the things that I got from the sale. As you can see, it's just a very plain white paper bag that they put all of your items in. So just know when you go to the sale, you're not going to get that same type of luxury experience. The first item I grabbed is this. And of course I had to get something green. So I got this, and you can see the tag here. This is actually a men's cashmere knit beanie, and it is in the color vert and beige. And this was just so comfortable. I loved it. I will probably actually just save it for myself. And it has the little Paris button on the side. I guess it's actually reversible as well, but I just thought it was very relaxed, and I love that green color, of course. And as you can see, with all of these items, there is a little S marking, so they put that on all the sale items. So I love this right away. Next is this, and it is this beautiful twilly. A lot of you guys might recognize this. This is from the pattern Space Derby. And I just always really loved this like futuristic horse and carriage in space vignette. And it is super cool. And I always really loved the navy color because it just looked like actual space. So I recognized this right away. And I picked it up. You know, you can never have too many twillies. And then here's another twilly. And this one is just so super cute. And it has more of like this purplish lilac and black in the background, so I felt like this is also very versatile. And this is from the Car Volant design, and I think that just means flying squares. It's a beautiful black twilly. Maybe I should have gotten more, but I really liked these colors, and the little people reminded me of my daughter, so I just picked it up. I bought this beautiful silk, and this is a 90 by 90 silk scarf in the Tulip Mania pattern. To me, these colors were just so stunning. And I really liked that you could change the tone of the scarf based on what color you had showing. So here's one with a little more green and purple. And this is just so beautiful. You can kind of see, I really was drawn to this purple, and you could see the title. It's like Tulip Money. But I actually really liked the white background of this scarf. And if it was full price, I probably wouldn't have bought a white background scarf in fear of like getting it dirty. But because I was saving 50% off, I think that is the thing that made me brave enough to think that, you know, I could definitely use that. So I think these are stunning colors, and I'm really going to try to use more of my silk scarves this year. All right, so let's talk about ready to wear. My first piece is this, and it is the cotton long sleeve t-shirt that I tried on. This is like a little out there, but I think this is the perfect time to try things out when they're on sale. I really liked the astrology motif, and when I put this on, it was just so immediately comfortable that in my mind I was like, oh yeah, I could wear this at night. Whereas if I bought it for full price, I never would have thought about it as like a night shirt. So here's the back. The sun and moon motif is just really, really fun. And the last piece I got of ready to wear is this, and it is the beautiful silk sweater, again in the astrology pattern. To me, the detail is just so beautiful. You can see it is actually very, very delicate. And so I do have to be careful like putting it on and off, but it has these like sewn panels basically. But if you're wearing a black undershirt, it's totally fine. But I love this. This is a 100% silk panel in the middle. And hopefully you can see that it is more of a, like a poly blend type weave in the sleeve. Look at that detail all the way down to the cuff. But I like this because I felt like I could legitimately bring this to Paris with me. And even if I was wearing a coat, you would be able to immediately see that it is Hermès. And I like the fact that the poly material meant that I wouldn't be afraid to like fold it up and have to iron it when I landed. And here is the back. And when I tried it on, I just immediately felt like it looked good, it made me feel good. So I bought it. And at 60% off, such a deal. So that's it. All in all, I probably spent a little under $2,500. And for the amount of items I got, it is such a good deal. And now I'll talk about my thoughts and observations. First, I could definitely tell that these items were less presentable than they would be if they were in the boutique. Like some of the silk shirts and caftans were clearly wrinkled and not pressed. And so it kind of did take the aura of prestige a little out of the shopping experience. And also they do just throw it in the white bag at the end, so there's no magic of the unboxing. However, I'm hoping that because these items were on sale and that there's less of like wrapping of them, I hope that it will help me feel less precious about using them. And to me, it's all about using the luxury items that we're buying. My second observation was that this could be a really good wardrobe building opportunity if you're new to the brand. I've had so many years of just collecting that by the time I got to the sale, I had a lot of things like shawls and shoes and silks where I wouldn't want to add more things that I just wouldn't like. I would actually rather use the stuff that I have. So keep that in mind when forming your own strategy, but I did see a lot of people buying up silks and shoes. Third, going to a sale is actually a good opportunity to scoop up former designs that you just didn't get a chance to pick up. So it's almost like a second chance. Clearly, I went all in on the astrology designs and it was a great price to boot. So that to me is another good incentive for seasoned buyers to go to a sale because you might find the piece that got away. Fourth, I would also definitely recommend taking a look at the whole layout before focusing on your target areas. This to me was like my newbie mistake where I just hit ready to wear and just stayed there for like 90% of the time. I really wish I went all the way through the sale, and I have to say the New Jersey layout was actually very big. If I had to do it again, I probably would have spent less time in ready to wear and paced myself more evenly, because I do wish I had more time to look at the equestrian rider clothing and also the home decor. But overall, I think I made very good decisions for myself. I also have to say it was actually very grueling to shop for almost 2 hours straight in this like high pressure environment. So definitely eat up and hydrate before you go. So that's it. I really hope you enjoyed hearing about this awesome experience. So I did show some true restraint, but more importantly, I got to make new connections on that day, meeting some awesome ladies in our luxury loving community. So thank you to those who stayed with me to the end. Let us know in the comments if you've ever attended an Hermes sale and what you thought about it. I welcome you to follow me on Instagram if you'd like to see more of how I style these new items in my day-to-day and other luxury moments. If you've enjoyed this video, I invite you to go down the rabbit hole that is my luxury unboxing playlist, and I'll put that link here. Please like it if you liked it, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!